Hello everyone, my name is Keely. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today I'm going to talk about the worst books I read in 2023. So I have 10 books on this list. Now I did have a number of 1 and 2 stars this year, but I narrowed it down to the 10 worst books that I have read. I don't think my list is as scandalous as it was last year. However, one of the worst books I read isn't actually on this list because it was a DNF, and I don't put DNFs on this list, but a little sneak peek, that was Fourth Wing. Hated that book, but that won't be on here because it was a DNF and I only read about half of it. So these are all the books that I finished that I think are the worst of the year. So we will start at number 10 and then go all the way down to number 1. So coming in at number 10, we have A Sweet Mess by J.C. Lee. This is an adult romance book where we follow a woman named Aubrey and a man named Landon. Now, Aubrey is a bakery owner in a small town, and Landon is a celebrity food critic. One day, Landon is driving through Aubrey's town and his car breaks down, so he has to stay the night there. Now, Landon and Aubrey end up having a one-night stand, and then Landon is never to be seen from again, and she's totally okay with that. She's thinking, okay, I'm never gonna see this Landon guy again, until one day she sees a critic page about her bakery, and it is a negative review, and she realizes that the man who wrote it is this Landon. So now he is coming to realize that this bakery was Aubrey's bakery and he had no idea, and what happened was he accidentally got the wrong order at the bakery, and so thus led to the negative review, and now he is trying to fix things with Aubrey. So this book just slowly went downhill over the course of it, and I could not stand this relationship. This entire relationship had no chemistry, and it was only about lust and not love. Like, every time they were in the room together, they only cared about taking each other's pants off and couldn't actually form an entire relationship because they only cared about each other's bodies instead of who the other person actually was. There's also a trope in here that I don't want to spoil it, but there's a trope in here I had never read about before, and I realized I just absolutely hated it. I did not like it at all. And then also towards the end, Landon actually felt really pathetic to me, and I actually got secondhand embarrassment from the way he was acting, and it was just almost like I got the ick from him. So yeah, did not like this book. This is the first book in a companion series, and I am wanting to continue the series because the other books sound interesting, just like this one sounded interesting, and I actually read this one for a vlog where I read foodie romances because I love foodie romances. Unfortunately, this one was a big miss. Coming in at number 9, I have Roadwork by Stephen King. Now, this follows a man who is living a very comfortable existence in his house with his wife. Now, we know that something has gone wrong in the past, and so he is just wanting to get by in his life and not change anything until one day there is going to be major roadwork construction that is going to take down his entire neighborhood because they're building this major highway. So he ends up, over time, losing his job, kind of losing his mind, losing his marriage, and now he is losing his house, and he is not happy with it, so he is deciding that he is going to do something about it. This is my least favorite Stephen King book I've ever read and will probably ever read. There was simply no point to this book. It was the worst book I read simply because it was so boring and I just felt like it was completely pointless. Now, I am a Stephen King fan. I was able to read a lot of his books this year, and I am slowly waking my way through all of his books, and this one was just simply so boring. Coming in at number 7 is She Is a Haunting by Trang Tan Tran. This one I was really looking forward to, and in this story we follow a young girl named Jade. Jade is about to go off to college, but unfortunately she and her mom cannot afford college, so she gets in contact with her estranged father who lives in Vietnam, and he says, if you come spend 5 weeks in the summer with me, I will pay for your college tuition. Now the catch is, she goes to Vietnam, but her dad is actually rebuilding this old mansion that is in Vietnam, and the mansion is actually haunted. Now, initially, Jade is trying to make her father see that it's haunted because she does not want to be there, and then things start going out of hand and it is actually haunted. So, this story lost me completely. It did not feel cohesive at all. I had no idea what was going on. Nothing made sense, and every scene shift felt so abrupt. It felt like several different pieces of different stories, and it should not have gone together. I still have no idea what really happened in this book, and I'm so sad about it because I am obsessed with this cover, and I really don't know what went wrong, if it was the writing or if it was the plot or the characters or if it was just everything, but I was just so confused by the end of it and almost left kind of angry because I was like, what was the point of that? But also, what just happened? Coming in at number 6, I have Queen of Myth and Monsters by Scarlett St. Clair. This is book 2 in the Adrian and Isolde series. I loved book 1, King of Battle and Blood, so much, so of course I was really looking forward to the sequel, but I was severely let down. So the first book, we follow a princess named Isolde and a vampire king named Adrian, and they are sworn enemies. The vampires are bloodthirsty villains, but the vampire king is about to take over Isolde's kingdom, and so in order to create this truce, he says, you have to marry me. So this is like an enemies to lovers series, and in the first book we go across this journey, and I just really loved it, and I loved the characters so much and the romance. But in this sequel, Queen of Myth and Monsters, it felt so different than the first book. Nothing, once again, made sense. The plot took a crazy turn that I just could not follow along, and I actually found myself super annoyed at Adrian and Isolde in this book, which really bothered me because I loved them so much in the first one. And so that was another big reason why I hated this book, was because I went from loving the romance to absolutely hating the romance. Moving on to the top 5, coming in at number 5, we have Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Now, if you watched my Emily Henry reading vlog this year, you would know that I found out I am not an Emily Henry girly, and this book just further proved why I do not like her books, and I will not be reading more from her. So in this book, we follow a literary agent named Nora, and she is known to be cutthroat and kind of very serious, but she decides to take this vacation with her little sister to a small, beautiful town. But when she's there, she bumps into Charlie, who is another brooding man in the publishing world. So they've come across each other before, and he is the last person she expects to run into. But of course, a love story starts. Now, of course, this is on my worst books, so I hated this book. I hated all of the characters, especially Nora and Libby, the sisters. Their relationship is so toxic. I really just wanted Nora to cut herself off from her sister and just completely go no contact, because Libby was so toxic for Nora, and I just feel like they were not a good relationship at all. Now, of course, the chemistry between the romance, there was nothing there. Did not feel it. How am I supposed to feel a connection to the characters when they are drunk every single time we see them? How am I supposed to feel like they're having these cute or romantic moments when they are doing these while drunk? That is just not a cute moment, because oftentimes they end up regretting it, or they do something they normally wouldn't do. So it's not cute, it's kind of gross, and I really did not like that. So overall, you can tell I get really heated about these books because I just don't understand why people love Emily Henry so much, because her books are awful, her characters are awful, and all the time they are either drunk or high. So how are you supposed to have a romance out of that? I just don't get it. Coming in at number 4, I have Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. Now, this is an Agatha Christie and Then There Were None retelling, where each person is killed off one by one. So this is a really cool setting. Actually, it's set kind of like in this mansion house on a cliffside. It's really rainy and spooky and creepy. And the short and simple of it, my Goodreads review says I hated everyone in this book and they all got what they deserved. Truly, if I hate characters in a book, I am going to hate the book, because I just feel angry the entire time, and all of these characters were so horrible that I was just so ready for the book to be finished. And that was so disappointing for me, because I have loved an Alice Feeney book before. Last year she was on my favorites, and now this year she's on my worst books. So quite a turn, quite a plot twist. There was a plot twist in this book, but by that point I did not care, because I hated everybody. Moving into the top 3, in number 3 we have As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. This is book 3 in the A Good Girl's Guide for Murder series, which the first 2, 5 stars. love those books. So now I'm just gonna pretend this third one doesn't exist at all. So if you don't know, in this series we follow a high schooler named Pip, and in the first book she is doing a senior capstone project where she is trying to solve a murder in her town from several years ago because she believes that the person that they said was guilty is actually innocent, and she's trying to prove that. So we have a lot of true crime investigations going on, and there's also podcasts in here. And unfortunately, this third book was so bad. Like I said, I love the first two, and Pip became one of my favorite characters of all time, and in this third book she became one of my most hated characters of all time. I was so completely flabbergasted that you can go from somebody that's your favorite ever to somebody that you literally want to see perish because they are the worst person ever. I don't understand how we had that flip in trajectory and how things changed so drastically, but I was so disappointed by this, and I was actually viscerally angry while reading it because it was so different from the first two, and I just didn't understand how we could go in that direction. So yes, top 3, very sad about this one. Coming in at number 2, surprise surprise, we have another Emily Henry, and that is People We Meet on Vacation. Now I was so surprised that I disliked this one because I expected this one to be my favorite Emily Henry because it is friends to lovers. We follow Poppy and Alex, who for years have gone on vacations together, but we know that they had a falling out a few years ago, but Poppy is about to go on her very last vacation, so she asked Alex to come along. Let me tell you, the chemistry between these characters was like in the negatives. Absolutely no chemistry, and I physically got the ick from Alex and Poppy. They were disgusting. For some reason, they just repulsed me so much, especially Alex. You would not catch me walking with that man on the street. I would cross the street to get away from him because these characters, I just hated them. There was no chemistry, and I can't say even more about this. I was disgusted by them. For some reason, they were just gross to me, and I did not like the relationship. Once again, there was way too much drinking in this, but also the vacation spot they chose, of all the places you could go, that's where you choose to go. Yeah, did not like this one. Once again, Emily Henry is not for me, and I just simply do not understand the love for her books. And coming in at number 1, my worst book of the year that so many people love is The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I hate this book. Truly, it's not even just like, oh, that was a bad book. No, I hate it. I hate it so much. So this is a vampire book with deadly competition, which are 2 of my biggest buzzwords of all time. And maybe that's why I hated it so much, was because I did have these high expectations that I was gonna love it. Because vampires, deadly competition, what could go wrong? Apparently everything. So the vampires in this book are not vampires. Like, you're looking at a certified vampire expert right here. These vampires are not vampires. I don't know what kind of supernatural creature they are, but they're not a vampire. So let's get that straight right there. These are not vampires, and I hated the way that they were portrayed to be vampires, but they were described like this with wings. No. Vampires do not have wings. Vampires do not have these magical abilities where they could throw fireballs. No. So that was one thing I hated. Another thing was, like, this deadly competition lasted for like 5 seconds. I felt like we were barely in the competition, so it was really boring, and there was also not a lot of world building. Now, I am someone who doesn't like a lot of world building. I want something sweet and simple, but something that I can still understand the world we're in. In this case, there wasn't enough, and I had no understanding of the world that we were in. And once again, I did not feel any connection or chemistry between the 2 main characters because I simply hated them so much. But yeah, this book made me so angry. A lot of people love this book, and I think it is one of the worst books, and I just can't believe it once again has all that love for it. This is one of my, I guess, scandalous opinions. I tend to be on the opposite side of things when it comes to popular books. Like this book, Fourth Wing, Emily Henry, I'm always on the opposite side of things, but this is one that I will go down with the ship. This is a bad book, and it has come in at number 1 for me. So those are my top 10 worst books of 2023. I would ask you what your worst book is, but I am somebody who, even though I am making this video, I get my feelings hurt easily, so I don't want to know if you disliked a book I love. I get my feelings hurt, so sorry if I hurt your feelings. But if you have made it this far in the video, go ahead and put the thumbs down emoji. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a great reading year of 2023, and it was hard to pick your worst books because you didn't have a lot. But that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, all my social media links will be down below, and I will see you next time. Bye!